actually create balance as an entrepreneur, as a childcare owner, or just an entrepreneur in general. And I'm gonna be honest, there's not a one word answer. If my mom is still on this live, she'll tell y'all. Like she's more of a guru at it than me. But there's not a one word answer. There is like this is just me personally. I'm not a firm believer that there is a perfect level of balance between being a wife, being a mom, being a business owner, being any of those different things. So I'm really, really big on like there is no immediate definition on how to find balance as a new entrepreneur. Can I say your season as a new entrepreneur will definitely look different than your season as a more seasoned entrepreneur? Absolutely. Obviously, you guys know I posted a post the other day and I got a lot of DMs about it. My mom had already started our childcare programs when I was 3 years old as a family-based childcare provider. But by the time I graduated college, and I'm one of those people that have a late birthday but went to school early before they did the cutoff. So I graduated college like late 20, early 21. And by that time, we were already on our third location site, but we were going into being a center-based. Being a family-based daycare and being a center-based childcare program, two different lanes, two different level of expectations. And sometimes us as providers, we go into like our center-based program with those same thoughts, those same functionalities, those same policies and procedures, and you fail, right? So the answer to your question is baseline. It doesn't matter whether you're a childcare entrepreneur or not, but some simple things that I've learned on how to find balance overall as an entrepreneur. The first one would be to delegate. Delegate the smallest things, and I'm even learning this in my home. So I delegate a lot of other things in the business because I've like mastered that. Like once you learn how to delegate like small stuff like your food program and things like that, make your life so much easier. But I would just say as a new entrepreneur, you get that 1, 2, or 3, 4 staff people under your belt. Delegate the simple things. My mom was one of those big people that taught me like, oh, can't nobody do circle time better than you. Can't nobody greet the families better than you. Can't no one, do all of those different things that you think that you can do. No one can do it better than you. That's a struggle. That's a complex that we have as new entrepreneurs. Why? Because your childcare program is your baby, right? It's your business, it's your baby, it's your families, it's your parents. All of that energy that you put into, getting your building, furnishing a building, getting it licensed, hiring staff, firing staff, all of that stuff is your baby, and you don't want that messed up, right? But in all reality, not delegating your most simplest task can really, really hold you back. So balance as an entrepreneur, delegate your most simple tasks. And simple tasks can be simple, right? So I share in our mentorship program is that for me, simple was I was really, really scared on like delegating our food program out, right? Like I was really scared about that. I was scared about having my director or the operational manager do the applications, follow up with the programs, be the point of contact, deal with inspections, site visits, write-ups. I was really nervous about that when it came to the food program because we had it on lock. And at that time, we had 4 different location sites. Now we have 2. But we have 4 different location sites, all for different age groups. And I was really nervous about relinquishing that duty. The first time that anyone ever walked into the program, and that was her role, I'm telling you, and they passed the inspection. I was like, oh my God, Dominique, why you didn't relinquish attendance, relinquish ordering the groceries, like the simple things. Because a lot of times we think when we hear like people say like, delegate tasks, they think that we're talking about like the huge tasks. Am I delegating my financial tasks? Absolutely not. Those are things and figures that only, my partner and I will see. But I'm talking about things like, greeting certain families, following up with people that maybe came in and didn't, sign up in your business or sign up in your program. Delegate the small tasks, okay? That's one thing for balance. Another thing for balance is learn how to say no. Like for me, that's one of my biggest things, is that I literally learn how to say no. Not to just like companies, or not to just families or providers or employees or potential prospectus, but family and people and friends. Learn how to say no. Because as a brand new entrepreneur, you 100 different places. Like if I got any new entrepreneurs on here, or I have like some solo entrepreneurs on here, please give some comments in the chat, because the struggle is real, okay? But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to learn how to say no. And that's that level of balance, because innately, what do you want to do? You want to service every age group. You want to service every family. You want to be able to meet the needs of every single person. So that could mean that you say that I'm going to open up, my hours are 7:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. and a family needs you at 5. You ask yourself, am I willing to do that, right, in this space of my business? So you have to learn how to say no to areas that, not that you're not grinding, not that you're not being flexible, but learn how to say no to things that truly don't satisfy your inner being, and you look up and you in burnout mode. That would be my honest, aspect for balance and saying no. And then the last one would be, I am the queen of this. I'm so guilty of this. I've gotten so much better, but we have to learn how to stop multitasking. Stop learning how to multitask, because ultimately at the end of the day, you think you're getting a lot of stuff done, but you're not. Right? You're really not. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what you put your energy into grows straight like that. Okay? So make sure that you are delegating tasks, learning how to say no, multitasking. And my last one is, have a non-negotiable. Like, even when I first started, even when I was like really in the thick and enough, I was 21 years old. You telling me I gotta come in on a Saturday? You telling me I gotta stay past 5? You telling me I gotta take files home? I was not ready for that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I knew to sacrifice. But I still had some baseline level of non-negotiables. Like Sunday is still Sabbath day for me. It don't matter what's going on. I don't care who enrolled for a program. I don't care what subsidy emails came over. I don't care what's thriving in the email, because I'm an email person, right? I just check them all the time. Sundays was my non-negotiable. Like, I'm not doing no work on Sundays, and I still have that same non-negotiable with, we've now got 3.5 businesses. I always say half because you always got a couple of side things going on, okay? But I still have that same non-negotiable, right? So Sunday for me is family day. Whether I have children, whether I don't have children, Sunday is a family day. I don't care what's going on in the world. It can wait. And then my last thing that I learned as a new business owner is, and just the task is really not making decisions after 3 o'clock, right? Like, and I'm being so transparent with you guys because, hey, mentees, I see some of my mentees joining in. Hey, Miss Melody, I love her. My other one was, I learned this the hard way, is not making decisions after 3 o'clock, okay? Because sometimes we make a lot of emotional decisions because we think we have to. Sometimes we put ourselves in scenarios and you look at me like, dang, man, I didn't really want to do that, but I was too fast. You know what I'm saying? So I just have a rule of thumb that I don't make no major decisions after 3 o'clock. And when I say major decisions, I mean major decisions. Unless my building is falling in, it's a fire, it's a dire need, no major decisions are getting made after 3 o'clock, especially if they involve long-term consequences, financial things, anything of that nature. I'm not making a decision after 3 o'clock. It can wait till tomorrow, okay? So that would be my one answer. So hopefully that answered your question, for you to put that answer in there. And thank you to, I think, is it Perfect Peace Family Childcare. She is dropping some additional major things on keeping that level of balance as an entrepreneur. So thank you, Perfect Peace Family Childcare. She said, hey, I'm here for your non-negotiables. Yes, you have to keep that baseline level. Hey, mentee, you have to keep that baseline level of non-negotiable, because you will look up and you will be burnt out. I made a video like about 2 years ago, I think now. A lot of things that they don't tell you about entrepreneurship when you start that childcare program. And it was like a crazy video. And I was really speaking truth, because there's so many things that they don't tell you, right? Like they don't tell you that your first 6, 7, 8, 9 months, you might be breaking even, and you're frustrated, you're burnt out, you're tired, you don't see the money coming in. And if you see it coming in, you're breaking even, or you might be taking a loss based on your season and where you are in your business. Okay, so having those non-negotiables for me of not making decisions after 3 o'clock, it don't matter what the business is, because we got multiple businesses in our family, even my husband and I. So it don't matter what businesses it is, I'm still not making major decisions after 3 o'clock. I'm still not giving up my Sunday unless it's something that's like, is dire need, even with contractors. You have to keep that level of balance, okay? So hopefully that was the answer to your question. Someone asked the question on how much square footage is one of my buildings. And I guess Square footage is really, really important, guys, I guess, when it comes to your childcare program. But I want to say two things about square footage in childcare. So the first one is our one building is about 1,000 square feet, and our other building is 1,760, give or take, okay? But the biggest thing I want to tell you about the square footage is, hey, Minty, the biggest thing I want to tell you guys about square footage is this, right? So one is not always about the square footage. Like, don't look at what you got on your paper like, oh, this is the square footage, and then I'm gonna go to my regulations and it says that I can have 35 square feet per toddler for the 2-year-olds. So I'm gonna take that and divide it by negative. That is not how it works, at least not in our state of Pennsylvania. I can't speak for no other state, but what I do know is a lot of the licensing agencies, they kind of follow, give or take, the same guidelines when it comes to your baselines of square footage. And so when it comes to square footage and you're thinking about a building, I always tell people this, is that you're looking at your openness of the space, okay? So I'm really, really big on, if you find a building, you love a building, and you don't love it because, like, anybody in here is building shopping, or you guys have ever been building shopping, and you walk into your first building, and you're like, oh my God, it's so cute, it's so perfect, I love this, I love that. Has anybody ever had that experience when you're building shopping because you're like, it's just perfect, right? And it may be perfect, but it's only perfect based off of what you don't know. That perfect building could have 35 walls in it, right? That's now considered separate classrooms. That's messing up your measurement when they go from left to right and from the front to the back. So I always tell people it's not just about your bottom line number of the square footage. She said, yeah, your first building is like your house. Right? It's like a car. They like they say, you know when you know. Does it really meet all the things on your checklist? Does it meet great things on your community? Does it meet great for your demographic? Does it work with your business model? You got to think about all those things when you're starting a business and when you're building shopping. Okay? But what I will say is, look at the square footage and look at the walls. Sometimes we purchase buildings that have so many different walls in there, and now you have to spend extra money in your demo process, because if y'all saw my story, that same square footage that we had for our building that I told you that was around 1,700 square foot, we're knocking out walls. Why? Because we're trying to expand, okay? So we're trying to maximize all of the space that's in that one building, and we're just knocking walls out. My mom got that building when I was like, I think I was like a sophomore in high school. That the first building that we went from family to the center, that first building, she's had that building since 2007. It's 2022, y'all. I can't even do the math. But the point of the matter is, we've always, give or take, had open concept, and we've changed the building so many times from floors to walls. But this is the year that we're actually knocking out walls for a different vision for the organization. Y'all follow me? So hopefully that answered your question. When it came to square footage, it's not about the bottom line number of the square footage. That's where a lot of childcare providers go wrong. They get these leases from their landlords, and then now the landlord tell you can't make no what's the word? You can't make no, like, it's called like either renovation or what's the word? Like, you're either remodeling or renovation. You can't make no major changes to your building, and that's in your lease. But you got 3,500 walls in your building. Now what you're gonna do? The landlord doesn't want you to knock down walls because it could be a structural issue, right? Or they just don't want to deal with it, right? So they don't want you to knock down walls, but you're paying $5,000 a month for a building that you can't even open up to get more children and to maximize your profit for your childcare program, okay? So these are things you want to think about when you're thinking about that square footage and really what it looks like, okay? And also look at your square footage, not just for the square footage as the childcare program. You want to look at not just the building, but what is your square footage per age group, okay? That's the biggest one. What is the square footage in your state, in your regulations, per age group? Because us in Pennsylvania, there is a different square footage requirement for every different age group. So you can have a certain amount of toddlers in this classroom. You can have a certain amount of preschoolers in another classroom based off of that square footage. And last but not least, my biggest one, any of my mentees on here that took the Childcare Startup University course, one of the things I talk about is make sure if you have square footage and it's not that much, that you are actually considering your indoor play space or your outdoor play space. I've seen too many providers, especially in Philly, that they don't consider, oh, damn, I gotta have outdoor place. I gotta have play space, whether it's indoor or outdoor, and that's gonna take away from my bottom line number one capacity. Think about that, okay? So hopefully that answered your question. Whoever asked that question in the story about square footage. So think about that when you're shopping for your building. You're not getting, your window shopping isn't getting happy because you think it's cute. You want to make decisions based off of logic and not off emotion, okay? Because you're locked into that lease, at least for, I always tell people, at least try to get a lease at least for 3 years, because you might look up and be 1 year in business and just open last month, okay? So at least you're locked into this. This is a commitment that you're making, and you don't want to make commitments off of emotion. You want to make commitments based off of market research. You want to make commitments based off of knowledge, and you want to make it based off that is logical and it makes sense. Not that everything's going to pan out, but there's some things out there you could have had the answer to had you went the extra mile to really educate your mind. Okay? All right. So hopefully that answered questions, whoever asked that. Someone asked, I know who this is. This is my mentee that asked this. What do you do after you set up your business plan? And I was like, oh, I'm glad she asked that question. That's a really good one. So what do you do after you set up your business plan? And I want any of my mentees that's on here, any of my childcare entrepreneurs, because I have a lot of aspiring childcare entrepreneurs. My Educated Mind Station is not just for my seasoned gurus in the building. I have a lot of clients that either A, y'all brand new, right? Y'all just got opening and you like, oh, what did I get myself into? I need some guidance. Or I have people that really, really want to start their childcare program in different states. So ultimately, what do you do after you start a business plan? One, I want to say this, right? I have plenty of girlfriends, plenty of friends, big boy friends too, that have never had a business plan in their business. And it doesn't have to just be childcare, right? Is a business plan, like, whether you have one or not, it's not going to make or break your business. But it's a great tool to have a great vision. That's what I would say. And a lot of times you need that business plan to secure loans, secure lines of credit. You need that. But do you stay stuck in the analysis paralysis space of the business plan? Because it may not go like anything else in life according to plan. Okay? So my thought process is, what do you do after you have your business plan? One, really think it through and ask yourself, is this going to work? I know a lot of times people in their business plan like, oh, I only want to take school age. Like, Madame, I know perfect. I only want to work with school age children. I still got to go through the ropes of starting a child care center because I still got to go through the same licensing agencies, but I know I only want to do school age. And what happens, because that's what's in their business plan, right? And what happens after 4, 5, 6, 7 months you've been open, and all you're getting, hey mentee, hey me-mize, all you're getting is preschoolers and toddlers. Like, that's all that's knocking on your door. It's preschoolers and toddlers, and you've been turning money down, right? Your business plan may alter. So my biggest thing that I see in a lot of my aspiring childcare providers is you guys either A, don't know what it takes from A to Z, and that's what the Childcare Startup University course program is. I teach you the business of childcare in that course. I don't teach you regulations. You can learn that from your state. Okay? I teach you the business and things to consider when you're thinking about starting into a program and before you commit yourself. But the second thing that I would say is begin to really figure out where you want your building to be. And last but not least, do you have the funds? Figure out how are you going to actually get funds to start this business, because this isn't any business model, guys. We have great ideas as entrepreneurs, like, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do that, but where do we get stuck? Where we get stuck? We get stuck in we don't have the money. A lot of people's dreams are stuck because they don't got the finances, right? But had you educated yourself on how to receive finances, everybody don't have a great savings account. Everybody don't have an amazing 401k that they've been working on a job for 10 years and they can go pull from there and start their side hustle. Everyone doesn't have that. So if you are your only option, then you really need to look into see how are you going to secure your building. And I'm not talking about just the startup money, guys. I ain't talking about just the startup money. You need to see what is my budget going to be? How much am I willing to pay for rent? That would alleviate you looking at buildings that got square footage that don't equivalate to the money that's going in the market for rent. Period. Don't say you want a building and you want to start out, I want a building with 50 kids. Do you got 50 kids worth of money for that building and that startup? That's reality. So the reality is, ask yourself, where am I getting this money? Am I getting it all from credit cards? Am I getting some from a line of credit? Am I doing some in my business name? Am I doing some in my personal name? These are all things you want to talk about. And if I'm not mistaken, because I created that course when I was like going on 2 years now. We're coming up on a 2-year anniversary for Educated Minds. I'm not one of those people that be like, oh, it's this year or that year, let's celebrate. I just keep being in harvest season. Y'all don't know about y'all, but this is seed planting in the harvest season for me. And if any of my followers is on here, this is grind mode season for me, okay? So with that being said, ask yourself, where are you getting this money? And in the second module, if I'm not mistaken, I talk about that. I have a lot of people that be like, dang, you know what? I'm glad that I invested my money into purchasing your course. Even though I didn't get my building open yet, I'm glad that I invested my money into purchasing your course because I immediately went and started working on my personal credit. It's like I can't stress it enough. In the course, I'm talking about how to make sure you take advantage and get your personal credit together so you can establish your business credit in your business profile. So therefore, if you are your only option, you don't got a mom, a dad, a savings, it's going to take time to get that money up. Unless you are willing to do a shark lender or a hard money lender or get a crazy interest rate, you need to think about these things before you quit your job and you don't have no income. And now you live in check to check. You're setting your own business up for failure. This is what I always want people to understand when they think about, courses and all of that stuff. You never know what you don't know. Like that's the biggest thing for me is like you don't know what you don't know. But if you have a mind game mindset, a poor man mindset, and you're not willing to invest something so small, you might not take the whole knowledge from the course or the whole knowledge from the phone call, but you could talk to any coach. You could watch any YouTuber podcast and they drop a jewel on you that's literally going to change your life and save you that first month security, down payment, all that stuff that you thought you had for your building because you really only got enough for 5 months to start your building. You don't got no real money to make sure that your business is kind of set up for those initial early in entrepreneur things that you don't know. Okay? So hopefully that was a good answer when it comes to the startup. Is I would really concentrate on my funding source at this point because the funding source in that you're not living penny to penny or check to check is important because starting a childcare business is like no other. It's not like you just be like, I want to have a boutique or I want to sell hair or I want to sell shirts. You go get a building, get all your inventory, put it in. It's not like that. Nah, you might be in the startup phase of your childcare program for 6-7 months. I kid you not. Our first building that my mom she actually got that building, her first building. She literally purchased the building with all the kids, everything in it. But she was already in business as a family childcare provider since I was 3. She didn't jump out and get that building until I was at least like 15. She was in family childcare, establishing her reputation, building her business credit. So therefore, she was ready for real elevation. And this is way before I knew anything about this, right? So that's why it's always good to have that circle. You got to really elevate your circle. I tell y'all that all the time. Like, I didn't even know people think like SBA been out since the pandemic. Nah, my mom been getting SBA loans way before when I was a teenager, y'all. So I say that to say, make sure that you educate your mind. Hey, sis, make sure that you educate your mind. Make sure that you understand the importance of funding. Because at the end of the day, you could be stuck in your dreams and not have the funding. That's why a lot of times, us as entrepreneurs, we get stuck. Like, dang, I want to start this business. Dang, I want to do that. But what are you doing to actually start it? The money's not going to fall in your lap. Like, it's just not. Oops, he said SBA is the truth. Yes. I tell you guys that all the time. That's why in that Childcare Startup University course, before I get into building shopping and what you building shopping for, in all reality, if you really not ready to press play, what are you building shopping for, or what are you really starting to do and put all this money out? And I'm talking bands. What is the point of doing all that if you're not really ready to press go? Okay? So make sure that as you're thinking about after you got that business plan and it's good, it look great on paper, you got to put it into action, but make sure that you are getting your funds right. Because the worst thing that you could do, I tell you, I kid you just not, I'm going to give you guys an example, then I'm going to move on to the other 2 questions. Make sure that y'all put your questions down below in the question box if y'all got questions outside of the ones that people ask in the story. Because after I answer these, then Ms. Dom is back to work mode. All right? So she said, yes, funding is the biggest roadblock. So I'm going to give you guys an example. The one I was telling you about, that first building that my mom acquired after we had our family childcare program. Like, I lived in the daycare, y'all, in real life, okay? So after she had that family-based childcare program and then acquired a building, she had already been open 7, 8, 9 years. Well-established. Business credit, well-established. Personal credit, well-established. And even if your business credit is not all that great, get the personal credit in order. Like, please don't go looking for nothing unless you really have, like, I don't even really mean to say the number, but you got to be like in the 700 club. You got to be 690, 689. I'm just being honest, guys. I'm just being really honest, because if not, them interest rates is disrespectful. Like, I can't, I know that there's people on here like, yes, we want it, but do you want to put yourself in a space that you know better? Right? Do you want to put yourself that now you're paying back all this debt and you're not making money in your business because you were so fast to just get a loan? You was just so fast to get a loan from a loan shark or a company that said, all right, I'm going to give you 20 bands, but the interest rate damn near 29%. Okay? So educate your mind when it comes to funding. And more importantly, anybody that want to start any business, get your personal credit right. I'm telling y'all, personal credit that make y'all be like, yo, I should have been did this. I have never not once put a down payment for any car. I have never not once put a down payment for any of, never. Not because I knew credit. I didn't know that. I just knew my mom said, when you acquire credit, make sure you pay people back. Don't be, oh, I'm going to do it this, or I'm going to hurry up and get this. Nah, pay people back, and don't be using more than you really can afford to pay back, Dominique, because I'm a spender, okay? That was like things I learned early on, you know, when I was like 18, 19, but now that I'm 31, I'm about to hit the 32 club, y'all, real soon. But now that I'm 31, I've learned a whole different set of rules, and the games have changed. However, the principles and what people are doing out here has always been the same. We just don't know. We just don't know the understanding of it. So get your personal credit right if it's not already right, because the level of, like, you know, let me tell y'all something. Aside from a loan, when it comes to credit cards, you know whether you're approved for them credit cards literally on the screen. Like, I done been on screens applying for all type of Amexes, Chases, and I'm approved on the spot, on the screen. I don't gotta wait to get the thing that pop up that be like, is being reviewed and wait for this. Nah, because I'm going into that application strong. I know that my credit score is above this. I know that my utilization is at that 33% based off of that line of credit. Do your homework. Educate your mind. Because at the end of the day, I would rather put that money, if I'm about to pay anybody $2,000, $3,000 to fix this and fix that, now I'm taking that money and I'm fixing my credit. Because I know my credit going to get me in places that I can't. And that's just the bottom line. I've learned that over a period of time. So that's what I would say, okay? And then I think there was one more question. How do you go about, because I wrote y'all questions down, y'all, so I can make sure I answer them all. Hey, y'all that's joining in. Make sure y'all share this live with people, because I be getting on here to make sure that I impact you guys and educate y'all, especially my aspiring entrepreneurs, you know, that y'all might be scared. Y'all don't know what's what. You know, because at the end of the day, there is no right answer. Like, there is no, you do this and this is there. Everyone is situational. That's what I always say, but there is principles, okay? So, the fourth question was, how do you go about choosing your rates in your home? What's too high, what's too low? Right? And I'm sure that there's a lot of great entrepreneurs on here that can just share that in general. So I guess I would say, one, I'm one of those type of people that if I can't be okay with collecting a check for the hard work that I've done, then my prices is raised. Like, that's just how I operate. Because when you put your all into something, you have to make sure that if you're giving quality work, let me say that. But a rule of thumb is shop the market. That's basic, and that's something I definitely talk about. That was my mentee that asked that. So make sure you finish the course, mentee, because that's something I definitely talk about in the rates, or you can send me a question in the DM, because I know you're the one that asked me that. But when you think about looking at your rates, wherever it is that you're located, shop the market. Don't shop the market for center-based programs and you're a family-based provider. It's two different lanes. It's two different lanes. It's two different brackets. You need to shop the market for where you're located, right? where your business is at, what other family-based childcare providers are doing, what else are they offering? Because a lot of times you go off of that tuition, but is that tuition including or not including meals? Right? Like I have some providers that are in other states outside of Philly, Pennsylvania. Let me not say that. Educated Minds is a nationwide consultant company, okay? I don't even have that many. I got a lot of VIP Phillies, but a lot of my startup people, a lot of my clientele is literally outside of Philly in the DMV area. But I will say, shop your market area, okay? Hey, Crayola kids, make sure that you look at what their rates are. Consider, is that including lunch? Is that not including lunch? Is that factoring other things into the tuition rate that you're not actually considering? Is their hours longer? Are their hours shorter? Are you providing Pampers? Are you not providing Pampers? Are you providing formula? Take into account all those different things. And then last but not least, ask yourself, okay, what is the difference and how much does it cost you to care for children? And I'm saying that wholeheartedly because you can do that in a center too. How much does it cost you to care for children in this center, in that classroom? And you break it down by age group. So take into consideration your rent, your utilities, your liability insurance, all of those things you want to consider and see, damn, how much do I spend every single month? And then you take that number and you divide it up based upon the different age groups that you're going to be servicing, because an infant could be more expensive than a preschooler. So you're not going to take that same formula and do the same thing that you would for infants. Why? Because the ratio is different. So your staffing needs are different. Okay? She said even in-homes offer difference that aren't the same. That's very, very true. And I tell you guys that because before we even got into being a center-based program, I used to always ask my mom, and I swear she was on this live, but she's probably not on here now. But I always used to hate, and I give you guys a little background story. I used to hate that my mom was an entrepreneur. Y'all probably wouldn't believe me, but growing up with an entrepreneur since I've been literally 3, I hated that she was an entrepreneur. Like, I just hated it. It was always something. We always got to go somewhere. We always got to do something. But by the time I became a teenager and I was really trying to figure out what do I want to do with my life, because I didn't just wake up and say, oh, I want to do daycare just because my mom did it. Now I got to really like and have a passion for what it is I'm doing. If not, I'm going to get bored real fast. So she was treating the family-based childcare program literally as a business and literally as a high quality. We were doing stars way before we got to a center. Okay? She was having baseline policies, saying no, being consistent, showing up professional. I was learning all of that when we were in a family-based childcare program. She would say to me, Dominique, this is not a babysitting service. Because I was a lazy teenager. She would say to me, this is not a babysitting service, okay? Either you going to be here and you're going to do what you're supposed to do, or you're not going to be involved in the business at all, period. My mom's one of those people. She either black or white, like it ain't no gray. And because she's had that mindset, that's what I have learned and that's what I have adapted. However, I will say that there are differences in family-based childcare providers, even in Philly. I tell people all the time, I talk to like 2 of my Philly clients and they were like, oh, I don't think that I can get the PHR pre-K program because I'm a family-based provider. They're not looking at whether you're a family-based provider. If they tell you to apply, you apply. They're looking at your quality. There's great, high quality. I always tell people that come into my programs with infants, because we don't care for infants in our program. But I always tell people that come in my program that's looking for infant care, if you're not ready to put your baby, in like a full-fledged, state-of-the-art, large childcare facility, look for some high quality. Y'all heard my keyword? Please put high quality in the chat, okay? But make sure that you look for some high quality family-based childcare programs. Do not count them out, because they really be serving and they really be caring. And I know because I was once there, okay? So make sure, that you really, really include them in there, because there's a lot of great, amazing, and I actually, honestly, in a lot of my Educated Minds University programs, my one-on-ones, my VIPs, my calls are with family-based childcare providers that either A, looking to become a center, so now they know they're getting into the big league, but they're ready. They're confidently ready, okay? So hopefully that answered your question down below. You guys are giving some good comments. I just can't really read them. I researched the centers around me first, attempted to find a median rate that reflected what I offered in my program. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Perfect Family. That is very true. You shop the market rate. You look at, so for instance, I looked at my hours. Like, well, I ain't trying to be able to say 8 o'clock at night. Like, that's a non-negotiable for me. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not something that I want to do. That's not children that I want to have coming into my program. I'm not trying to be doing all that. So you have to ask yourself, what are you offering? What are they offering? And finding a medium. And then, more importantly, let's think about this. Your prices will change. I'm telling you, the more confident that you become as an entrepreneur, you know you serving quality, you know you giving them children your all, you know you're paying your staff, you know you got real life expenses, your prices will change. And I shared that with you guys in that story that I had about showing how we're renovating the whole building and all of that, simply because we've been in that building since 2007. Okay, the rate that we were charging in 2007, and then when we became a star 2 and became a star 3 and invested into the building, invested into the staff, invested into the accreditation program, invested into the learning materials. Please don't get me started, y'all, about quality in the child care program, about quality learning materials, staff, engagement. Don't get me started, because that's a whole other topic. Okay? She said, yes. Price went up. Yesterday's price is not today's price. And that's one of my mentees that's been with me for 2 years. But she like a mentee slash sis. But in general, that's the truth. Okay? Yesterday's price ain't today's price. But I know us as entrepreneurs, you're like, what should I charge? I don't want to be too high. I don't want to be too this. But let me tell you something. You don't know if it's going to work unless you try. Period. Straight like that. Okay? She said, I need to sign up for the Startup University course. Yes, guys, y'all do. I'm telling y'all, just for July 4th, the startup course was $97. Let me tell y'all something. I tell that to people all the time. If you cannot invest $100, $200, $300 to learn something, you're definitely not ready to be an entrepreneur. Because at the end of the day, any business I've started, and I'm telling y'all, I have businesses outside of childcare. Like, childcare take up a lot of my time, but we got businesses, family, we're building legacy. So I'm involved in multiple businesses with my husband, with my mom. Like, we have multiple businesses out just side of the daycares. But we didn't purchase courses. I didn't purchase courses, guys, for $1,000, $2,000, $500. I just signed up for a mastermind for $700. And I signed up for another mastermind 2 weeks ago for the nonprofit for $809. I ain't even get started yet. But I got the knowledge because I'd rather know what I'm getting myself into and spend $800 or $900, and that's just my league. But I'd rather spend $100, $200 on something and know what I'm getting myself into. Drop. Can you guys hear me? Can y'all hear me? Because every time somebody calls, my audio go out. Hello. But yeah, I'd rather drop money on a $100 course, a $200 course, than spend money and sign a lease or sign up and drop $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on something and now I'm really up shit's creek. Y'all follow me? So don't think about the money. Don't think about, dang, I'm putting this money out. Because let me tell you something. What you put out, that's how we operate. And Nikki, if she on here, I got a lot of big boy players. That's how you operate. You can't worry about what you put out. Because the money that you put out, it circulates right back to you. What you focus on grows. And as I ain't going to get into manifestation on this live. I ain't going to get into positive energy. But I'm definitely going to sprinkle it on you guys, okay? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to believe and you got to know that you are worthy. You got to not have a poor man's mindset like, hey, I don't want to pay. I think the course is at $197 right now. I don't want to pay $197 for a startup course, but I would rather go pay a realtor, or I would rather go shop and waste time and energy on things that I don't know about. And now I'm looking up and now I'm really stuck. But had you paid for that course, you would have went and worked on your credit, because you don't even know that I'm talking about that in the course, okay? But she said, yes, get into it. But y'all know that's how I literally operate. I'm telling you guys, ultimately at the end of the day, I love my Educated Minds community because my mission is to educate you guys and empower you guys. But you cannot be stuck in your mind. It starts literally in your mindset, okay? You have to understand that what you focus on grows. So if you out in the world and you partaking into negative energy, you out in the world and you partaking into gossip, you sitting on the couch because you ready to catch this station and you ready to catch this show. Y'all know how many, I done been stopped watching reality TV, I don't know how many years ago. Not because I don't like it, just simply because my time is valuable. Like literally when I was creating Educated Minds, I still had a full-fledged business, full-fledged multiple sites. So when I got done work, this is before I had people opening up for me and doing all this. When I got done work, my mom called me, what you doing? I'm working. I'm working on my website. I'm watching a YouTube video. I just purchased this person so I can learn how to start up my own agency. I'm learning. There's nothing better than to educate your mind every single day. Okay? Because the more that you learn, the more that you earn. So if you guys want to earn, please put earn down in the chat. Because if you guys want to earn, you have to learn. But the first step is, and I was talking to a client about this in a DM, you have to believe that you are worthy. And you literally have to honestly, for me personally, change things that you are currently doing. That's my biggest thing. Like, change things that you are currently doing. If your routine is whack, change it. Okay? If you wake up every day and you have no routine, you don't know whether you're going left, you might be sitting in a car gossiping for 30 minutes, knock it off. Switch the things that you are wasting your time with feeding your soul. Like, I cannot tell you how amazing it is that every morning that I wake up, I created that reality for myself. Okay? I didn't know that when I said, oh, I want to start a sisterhood. I didn't just want to start, I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'm going to teach people how to do childcare. Nah, that wasn't my mission for Educated Minds, okay? My mission for Educated Minds was to create a sisterhood. Literally, every single time we get done our 6-week group program, I connect. So I got Baltimore people. If y'all got daycares in Baltimore, y'all should be connected. It's not going to serve me. Why? Because you guys are in Baltimore. I got people that's in Chicago. That's why I created a nationwide sisterhood. Not just so that you can sign up for a course and I teach you and we're done. No. The goal is that your network is equivalent to your net worth. Okay? And that's the truth. So before Educated Minds ever came along, the name Educated Minds, for 2 years, guys, I kid y'all not, for 2 years, I was literally isolating myself and educating my mind. So I used to live like 45 minutes away from the city. Every single day when I got in the car, I was listening to an audio book. I wasn't calling my girlfriend. I wasn't talking about what he did last night. I wasn't talking about what hairstyle I'm trying to get. Nah. I was educating my mind. This was before I could even afford mentorship. Okay? Let me tell y'all know I keep it very real with y'all. This is before I could even grow my business and afford mentorship. But I knew the only way to grow, you have to follow what the others do. So when I wake up in the morning, I didn't know that when I was starting Educated Minds that I was creating a sisterhood. I just thought that I was going to help a couple women grow their business the way that I grew mine and help them get their classrooms together. One of my first clients, she knows she on here. I thought that's what I was doing. I didn't know that it was going to pan out to this. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when I wake up in the morning, it's days that I don't feel like walking. It's days that I don't feel like reading. It's days that I don't feel like educating my mind. But my level of circle of sisterhood, because some of my greatest clients are now my family, are now my sister. And I was talking about that the other day on the live, that there's a total difference between me coaching you and me mentoring you. If I mentor you, you know my family. You know I'm sharing stuff even when you're not paying me. Why? Because I mentor you. You've shown me that you invest. You show me that you really want to elevate your mind. You show me that you're really ready to grow. Okay? So the only way that you earn is because you learn. But more importantly, you got to believe that you're worthy enough to do the work first. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to be writing my affirmations down. I'm going to be saying my prayers. I'm going to be asking God for stuff. But then when you get off work and you want to start that childcare program, you clicking. You flicking. You talking. You talking on the phone. You watching Instagram videos that don't got nothing to do with your world. Like, if you want to send me something on Instagram, unless it's funny, because I'm telling people send me something, I'm just a laughter in general. I just love good energy. Like, that's why I sprinkle it all the time, okay? I'm about to come out with a shirt. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you really, really want to make sure that your circle is tight, because your environment literally dictates your reality. And I ain't going to go too deep into it, because I said I'm only going to be on this live for 30 minutes. And it's about to look up, about to be 2 o'clock. But your environment dictates your reality, okay? And you might be like, how my environment dictate my reality? I can't change my environment because these are my circumstances. Those are excuses, okay? Those are excuses, because let me tell you something. There's plenty of people that did it before you, and they are going to continue to replicate. There's blueprints already out there. So changing your environment is simply based off you and your mindset. Okay? All right, let's see. I have a question. I've been wanting to open a childcare facility, but don't know where to start. How much is the startup? The startup is $147. It's on the website. So if you guys go to the link in my bio, hit childcare startup course, it's only at $147. And let me tell y'all something. I've even gotten to the point, I got clients on here that has paid over $400 for this course. But now I just offer the course that you just take the course, and if you want to purchase the extra 2-hour Zoom, then you do that when you want to. Okay? But it's affordable. Like, period. So hopefully that answers your question on the startup course. All right? And I think that was it. If anybody else dropped questions, drop them back down, because there's like 7 or 8 in this thing here. Sometimes Instagram I don't be knowing if I'm doing it right. But yes, guys, you guys have to understand, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, that it's really about your environment. It's really about your reality. I woke up today, let me give y'all a good story. I woke up today ready. I woke up today on 100. Do I wake up every single day on 100? No. But one thing for certain and two things for sure, I'm not starting my day and I'm not ending my day without meditation, because I know that me having my own moment that's a non-negotiable for Dom, but I had to get to this space. I had to educate my mind. I had to understand the importance of putting the phone down. I had to understand the importance, like, yes, I see you calling me, sis, but I know that you're calling me, and I know you about to mess up my energy with some negative and I can't afford it right now, okay? I might call you at the 5 or 6 o'clock, because then I'm done my day. But if I'm starting my day, I can't hear that in my ear gates when I'm driving into work. I need to pour into myself. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, how many times do you walk in your building, your staff, they calling you every which way. They calling you on the phone. You got contractors over here. You trying to get this started. You got parents at the door. You get drained. So when do you pour unto you? Okay? Someone said change your social media environment. The people that you follow will inspire to be. Absolutely. And it's called an audit. Literally. So if you scrolling, like, I don't want to see, excuse my language, I don't want to see no ass shaking on my Instagram whatsoever. Not because Ms. Dom don't like to twerk, right? Not because I don't like to have a good time. But at the end of the day, if I'm on here, if I'm on this device, because social media makes you money. It's Wi-Fi. Period. At the end of the day. But if I'm on here for pleasure, I need to be educated in my mind. I need to feel good. Don't look at things that's going to be like, oh, heck, I ain't there yet. Oh, see, that could never be me. I don't got the time. I got kids. I got this. I got. No, it's not that. Because let me tell you something. There are millionaires that have done it before you. And let me explain something. Everyone's level of success is not the same. Like, everyone's level of success, she said laugh out loud, that's the truth. Everyone's level of success is not the same. So you ask yourself where you are right now, wherever y'all watching this live at, even if y'all watching it live on a replay, are you happy with your environment, your world, your reality? Your environment is your circle of friends. Okay, let me break it down to y'all. Your environment is your circle of friends. If you're not happy, if you don't got friends that you can call and go out to eat, or they cheat, or they don't want to do this, cut him off. Okay? If you trying to grow and elevate, I need for when you text me a book. Text me a podcast. Text me a YouTube I need to shout. Text me a sermon that I missed. Text me a book I need to purchase. Text me a new coach I need to follow. Okay? Bring value to the relationship. And that's in any relationship. That's the truth. So look at your circle of friends. The other thing that dictates your environment is look at where you are. So ask yourself, are you satisfied in your bank account? Why is my bank account so low? Why am I robbing if we pay Peter to pay Paul? Because I don't got no credit. Fix your credit. There's so many things that you can look at when it comes to your environment. What am I doing with my free time? Am I scrolling? Am I educating myself? Am I arguing? Am I fussing? Like, you have to really know, like, some things don't even deserve a response from me. That's just how I've elevated and got to a space of peace. Because you have to protect your energy and you have to protect your peace, and that's the truth at the end of the day. So I highly encourage all of my childcare providers out there, guys. I don't just get on live just to make y'all feel good, but take this feel good, take this motivation, and I challenge you guys to educate your mind in some way today, even if it's not with me. Educate your mind. There's so much free knowledge out here. But at some point in time, you educate free, but the blueprint is there for you to skip over all the stuff you're trying to really get to. Straight like that. Okay? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this live today. I do have people that send me DMs. I didn't get a chance to respond to them because I was hopping on live, but I will be in the DM probably for about another 10 more minutes before I go into the office and really lock and load. But I'm telling y'all, this is harvest season, okay? This is planting season. Like, once I heard that sermon last week, I was like, yes, let's get it. I'm ready, okay? This is literally planting season. So plant those seeds of growth. Plant those seeds of mindset. Plant those seeds of business. Plant those seeds of abundance. Plant those seeds that now I'm going to make this every month. No, I'm going to move out of this environment. No, I'm going to fix my credit. No, I may get a second job because I know that I need to get this in order to get that. Sit down and evaluate your life. And if you're not happy, make some changes. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to do it like you, sis. Nobody's going to love on you more than you. Nobody's going to be happier for your wins more than you are. But you're going to be mad at yourself if you look up and you're going to be living in regret on all of those dreams, all of those aspirations, all of those things that you wanted to, coulda, woulda, shoulda did. But you was too lazy and you were not disciplined enough, disciplined in your own belief that you deserve better. Like, that's just at the end of the day. If every day you look up, don't wait till 2020. Everybody like, oh, it's about to be 2023. Now you want to make a change. Now you want that same energy at the beginning of 2023. And now we 6 months in. That's why I was talking last week on the live about quarter three. Quarter three is about reflection if you're a business owner. Because your business might be in quarter three is like it's the meat and the potatoes is the medium. Okay? What you do now this summer is determining your fall. So if all you're doing is out, having a hot girl summer, and all you're doing is up partying, you chilling, you spending all the money in your bank account, you flexing because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, okay? If that's all you're doing this summer, don't expect to have an abundant season come fall. Don't expect to have an abundant season come December. Because what were you doing in that harvest and planting those seeds for that next season? Ask yourself, okay? And that's the truth. So be ready to elevate and be ready to put in the work. Because no, I can tell y'all one thing for certain and two things for sure. That vision board that's in my office and also in we have a vision board literally in our bedroom for love and marriage and children and all of those things. My vision board will be full because I believe, because I'm practicing. I'm putting in the everyday routines. I'm keeping discipline, okay? I love to talk and get on live, but at the end of the day, I got other business to take care of. But this is harvest season. It's Saturday. I don't have to work if I don't want to. I don't have to do more things if I don't want to. I'm okay in life, but I want more. I deserve more. I believe that I know that there is more generational wealth to come. I'm creating a legacy and it's not built overnight. Okay, so once you become so obsessed with the fact that you know, like, nah, I know I deserve more. Like, no, I know I'm built for this, okay? So if you guys are built and you guys know, please drop abundance down in the chat. Because at the end of the day, I want to see childcare providers thriving, okay? I want to see entrepreneurs knowing and getting all that's accessible to them. How many times do we not get business funding or we don't get lines of credit? Why? And I'm going to let y'all go after this. Because us as entrepreneurs, you thought that paying your little bit of taxes, when you had a W-2, you thought paying them taxes was hard? Nah, sis. Wait till you get that tax bill in real life and you start making real money in your business. You're going to be shit scared. Like, oh, I got to pay how much? $17? Oh. But that's that same person that want to go out and get a building in their daycare name, but they're scared to show their money. You guys want to keep getting deductions, but you're not elevating and you're not setting your business up because you know what season your business is in to receive funding. Don't think you're going to be receiving funding and you ain't showing no money on the books. You cheating yourself. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the goal is to use other people's money to make your money back and flip it. And that's the bottom line. Okay? So make sure that as you start that daycare, them first 2-3 years of business, if you was not eligible, make sure you're showing income so you can proudly walk into the bank and they match it because that's how it works. Okay? That's how the business credit works. So If you say you made $25,000, they're gonna give you 50 because you're demonstrating that you made the basics. But how are you gonna show it if you don't got no software systems? How are you gonna show it if you're not making money? If you wanna take the poor man's mindset, I'm gonna take all these co-payments and I'm gonna put them right here. Okay? I ain't gonna show no, I'm only gonna show a little bit of income because at the end of the year, I ain't trying to pay no taxes. Well, let me tell you something. You're gonna be that same business that wanna go from being a family-based childcare provider to being not a center. You're gonna be that same provider, that same stuck at that same gross revenue income, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be using all your hard-earned money. That should stack your money. Because at the end of the day, don't you wanna have an exit strategy as a childcare entrepreneur? You gotta have an exit strategy as an entrepreneur. Okay? You have to have an exit strategy. Treat your business the same way the Fortune 500 companies do. Educate your mind on how they're able to do it corporate, especially if you have an S Corp or a C Corp. You're just like them. But you're not practicing the same profit and loss practices because we're scared, because we think we're going to get over. Or we want to be eligible for this low income or that low income or all of that other stuff. You want to be eligible. You know that you can go to a different space, but you're stuck because you're comfortable. You got to get uncomfortable with being comfortable. You have to get uncomfortable in order for you to elevate and grow. And uncomfortability looks like this in so many different ways. It could look like you stepping outside your comfort zone. It could look like you going to a conference. It could look like you meeting new friends. It could look like you going to a different type of conference. It could look like you signing up for a webinar. Get uncomfortable in this harvest season of your business. Because again, the seeds we plant right now in summer is going to determine your fall. The seeds you plant, like for instance, I got providers that like season providers, like they close their daycare in the summer, literally. And I'm like, dang, when I saw her do it, I'm like, yo, that's super dope. She closed her daycare in the summer. Why? Because she done figured out the numbers that much that she maximized that profit from September to June. She maximized every last age group. She get money for kids on multiple funding streams. She figured it out. Okay? Because she was harvesting in fall. She was harvesting in the winter, right? So now she's off in the summer. So make sure that you are planting those seeds because there's work. Like he said, there's work in every single season of it. Like the seeds, the harvest, it's work in every single season. It's just how bad do you want it? Like I'm literally obsessed with becoming the best version of Dom. The best version of me. Not just as Ms. Dom on Educated Minds, the best wife of me, the best daughter of me, the best entrepreneur of me, the best version of me for my own self-care. I'm literally obsessed with becoming the best version of myself. Because when I've seen myself at my most highest place, I knew that I poured into me. I blocked out the distractions. I'm okay. Okay? I remember there was a point in time that I used to always look up and I felt like, I was like, damn, like I'm 22. I'm not in the same bracket as the average 22. I got big girl responsibilities when I was 20. Okay? So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you audit your environment in order to change your reality. Okay? So hopefully this was a really great live, guys. I ain't even planning on, Nikki, if you still on this live, you the one that got me started. I ain't even planning on going as deep into educating and motivating and mentorship and manifestation. But I'm telling you guys, if I could do it, and I ain't even all the way there yet, I kid y'all not. But if I could do it, I'm telling y'all, Ms. Dom is 31. So let me tell y'all something. I know y'all think if I'm 31 now, I saw all the seeds. I wasn't even thinking about educated minds. I wasn't even thinking about educated minds when I was 25, okay? But I knew one thing for certain. When I graduated college, I went back and got my master's degree, not because I needed to, but I went back and got my master's degree because I literally did not know how to lead. I didn't know how to lead a team. That's why I got my master's in educational leadership. But I did it because I wanted to. I was like 25 working a full-time job. Matter of fact, I was telling somebody in my DM this the other day. When I graduated college, I had 3 jobs. It wasn't just a daycare. I knew the daycare literally could not afford my lifestyle. I don't know why my mom put me into this luxury level of lifestyle, but it couldn't afford my lifestyle. But what she did teach me is what you want, go get, period. So I used to work at the daycare Okay? Then I used to be a sub for the school district, and then I also was an L1 instructor for 3 years. All because I had a number that I need to make. I gotta drive a certain car. I gotta live in a certain neighborhood. This is my environment because I understand that my environment creates my reality. I can't have too many distractions where I'm at. That's just the bottom line. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I would be in class getting a degree that I knew it wasn't going to change it wasn't going to literally change my salary. It was an accolade that I wanted. So I was in school on Saturdays after working, because y'all know when you first get in business, you're working 40, 60 hours. I would still go to class in person from 9 to 5 on a Saturday for 2 hours straight. And people have excuses. How do you have excuses to do more, but you want more, but you ain't trying to put in the work? How is this possible? How can you be mad when you look at your bank account? But what did you do? Okay? If you don't know financial literacy, educate your mind. If you don't know how to grow your business, educate your mind. If you don't know how to start a business that multiple people have done, do what? Please put down in the chat, y'all. Educate your mind. Okay? So really it is about how bad do you want it. There is no such thing as no. It might be a no the first time. It might be a no the second time. Y'all know I literally failed my teaching certification 3 times. And I didn't even want to be a licensed teacher. But in order for me to get my baseline degree of a bachelor's degree when I was graduating from Westchester, you had to pass the teacher certification. I knew I didn't want to be a teacher in the school district. I knew I wanted to own and jump into the family business and grow and expand the family business. I knew that. But I had to pass the certification test. Okay? I was studying. I would be like, yo, how these girls keep coming in here passing on the first time? But let me tell you something. Okay, when I was in 9th grade, I was still writing on a 6th grade level. These are the principles. These are the characteristics. This is why fostering that discipline muscle in your brain and in your body is so key. Because you're going to find yourself in situations that you got to pull it out. And if you're not built to have that discipline, especially as an entrepreneur, you're going to be an entrepreneur that's robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're going to be a person with a poor man's mindset that's robbing Peter to pay Paul constantly. In a circle, okay? So literally, I would be going to high school at 6 in the morning because I was in an IB program. Mind y'all, they told me I was still writing at a 6th grade level. When I was in 10th grade, I was embarrassed. I went to tutoring for 2 years because I didn't know how to write. But let me tell y'all what that 2 years taught me. That's how I got a full scholarship to college. I never paid for none of my education, period. The lady told my mom, literally, you want to invest? You want to buy your Gucci bags? You want to buy your Louis bags? Because my mom, she's just one of those people. She loves to get dressed. If y'all ever see her, she's just a fashion person. She just love to get dressed. She loves to look good. She loves to feel good. And I can tell y'all, everybody like, your mom's 61? Yes. And she looks excellent. She is my role model in real life. But at the end of the day, that lady told her something way back. That little girl right there, that's your investment. So no, you don't want to pay Sylvan Learning Center $500 a month. Why? Because she go to public school. But if you want her to grow, if you want her to learn how to write and read, okay? Because I have dyslexia. So if you want her to learn how to read and write so that she can go to college and she can have some level of an option, then you need to invest right now. So every Saturday, while my friends was in the pool and playing the let out at high school, I was on a bus in the morning on Saturdays for 2 years straight, learning how to write. Now what we do? We write multiple 6-figure grants, okay? That was the seed that was planted. So when I got to college, I was writing people's papers because I learned to love how to write. Because you have to develop. This is the thing what people don't understand. You have to learn how to develop what it is you don't like doing. You either delegate it out or you learn it. That's just the bottom line. And that's one of the hardest things that I have learned. But I will tell you that discipline muscle that I had in high school, I took that same discipline muscle now, okay? I took that same she said, look at God, won't he do it? I took that same discipline muscle that I had in high school, okay? I wasn't standing outside at the pizza store, My mom said, I need you to be at this daycare, and I need you to pick up them after-school kids because I don't got no after-school staff. And this was way back, I was in high school in like 2006. So I'm going to get you a car so you can move around. I had a car since I've been 15. But I'm going to need you to do X, Y, and Z. Okay? So I say that to say, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about the seeds that you plant now. That same discipline muscle that I had in high school when I didn't know how to write, now I'm an entrepreneur, right? And now we get ready to expand these buildings because at this time we had 2 daycares. We got the 3rd daycare when I was 21. So now I'm really in the thickening of it. I know how to do paperwork because I've been learning that since I've been a teenager. I know how to pass an inspection with my eyes closed. But I did not know how to grow the business. I did not understand multiple funding streams with Head Start and pre-K accounts. And that's really where the real money is at. So when y'all be seeing the president and all of the political officials saying, oh, we're pouring in billions to early child education, they not just pouring it into state funding. Nah. They're pouring it into Head Start, pre-K accounts, all of those programs that are for your city for the children ages 3 to 5. Why? Because they believe that if a children learns how to read by 3rd grade, because this is what I learned, that it will break the prison to preschool pipeline. So that's where you want to be. That's where you want to position your center. Don't just be a daycare center. Do you just open it up from sunrise to sundown, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.? And people in there, no, have options. How do you have options? You educate yourself. How do you have options? You get in the room. How do you have options? You network so you can learn. And that was my goal. I'm like, nah. When I graduate college, I see my mom. She working hard. She's still flashing flashcards. She's still really serving. But I want my child care program in the hood to be a high quality, learning, enriching environment. And I'm going to make it because let me tell you something. When I used to go out to the counties, and I was like, damn. Because when you in college, you can't do your, you can't do like your, what's those things called when you got to go out and do internships. I couldn't do my internship at my mom's own family provider base. Why? Because she wasn't connected with a school district or nothing fancy, right? So when I would go into like other preschool programs, I'd be like, damn, yo, they got some real nice learning materials. They got the best shelves. They got the best toys. It's painted. They got the really nice floors. I was like, yo, I want this one day, right? I didn't know the plan and how I was going to get it, but one thing I knew, every single email that I was getting, I was there. Every single webinar that they was having, I was there. And I wasn't there in the back. Nope. Okay? I was up front, raising my hands, asking questions, making sure that they know that this face is affiliated with Yolanda's Kids Corner. So when any pilot program come out, I'm there. Okay? What do you need? Oh, you need somebody to have a degree to do this, that, and third. You got to network. You got to learn. And that's why those seeds are planted. Because even when I was in school getting my master's, I'm like, damn, man, it's a Friday night. I'm 22. I'm 24. I'm finally grown enough to go out. And I finally got a little bit of stability. But now I'm working as an entrepreneur. And it's hard. So this version of Ms. Dime that you guys see now is not the 22-year-old version of sacrifice that I was. I would be like, nah, I can't go out. It's Friday because I got a paper due Saturday. And I got to present and talk on Saturday morning at class for a degree that I didn't know was going to be bringing me money into this business of educated minds. I didn't know that. Okay, but I knew discipline. I created that discipline muscle way back in 2007 when I didn't want to do it. Okay, and that's that same discipline muscle that I have for educated minds, for the barbershop, for real estate, for the daycare. It's that same discipline muscle you have to want it. So at the end of the day, you could get off this live and be like, yo, I want it. But guess what? When the sun go down, you're going to get that glass of wine and do this. Okay? So make sure that you develop your discipline muscle. I challenge you guys, give yourself 30 days. Create a routine in the morning. Create a routine in the nighttime. And find things that you don't want to do to create that discipline muscle and do it anyway. One of the easiest things, and I know it sounds really dumb, but one of the biggest things that I've learned of the practice is to literally make my bed every single morning. I make my bed every single morning because I hate doing it. But I know that I'm already creating a discipline muscle. I hate getting out of bed. I don't snooze the alarm. That was one of the other things that I learned from discipline. Look, either you tired or you not. Like, that's it. Either you tired, Dom, or you not. You can't be tired because you just woke up. Your mind is telling you that you're tired. Your body is feeling like you're tired. But in all reality, it's just a mindset thing. Okay? So develop that discipline muscle and watch your life change in 30 to 60, 90 days based on how hard you go. All right? So hopefully this was a good live for y'all. I don't know why y'all be doing it. Nikki, you on here all the time, always letting me just get into it and go live. But I really be feeling passionate about it, guys, because I love when I see us as entrepreneur women, and I'm not going to say black. But I love when I see us as minority women, especially my childcare providers, because we've been working hard. Like, this industry is like no other. I know entrepreneurship is hard in general, but I just personally say being a childcare entrepreneur, it is hard work. You be tired, you be burnt out, but let me tell you something. One thing for certain and two things for sure, that's just this season. What is your next season gonna look like? But you can only know it because you know that season. Why? Because you're mentally already in it. You like, nah, I'm making sure that I'm doing this. Nah, I am getting me an accountant. Nah, I am learning about the money. Nah, I am going to educate myself on what more tax deductions I need to get. No, I do need to learn about that accreditation program because I do be seeing people say that it is money in it, but I'm scared because I don't want people all up in my books. Poor man mindset, okay? The money is there. How are you going to get it? It's the question at the end of the day. All right? So have a great day, guys. I'm going to sprinkle all of my great good energy on y'all. Ms. Dime is headed out to the mall and to get my nails done. All right? So have a great day, guys. Don't let nobody steal your joy.